Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of the Quant Edge in the Black VTF here, T3 Live, and with today's market wrap up, and what 24 hours or so it's been. If you were trading the futures last night, some humdingers of the action, and the rally off last night's lows were huge. So what we got here is we had the big gap down that you can't see, back down into all this stuff, and then comes right back up, and so you can see them SPY. We'll shrink it down for you. Bum, 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 ripper. So here, actually had to fight all the way back to yesterday's lows and almost made it. So it's actually bullish engulfing. You can see the broadening formation here. Higher highs, lower low, higher high, lower low, and then comes up into there. So if you were following along, and I had a webinar last night, if you want to listen to that, I'd tune into our website. But what you can look for here is we got the inside 30 in the SPY right here. And right off the opening, goes up, tries to bring them inside 30. When that inside 30 broke to the upside, what we look for is you go look at everybody. How's the Qs doing? Qs, Rev Strat 30. The inside bar countered with the hammer, Rev Strat 30 up. You had small cap, IWM, inside 30 closer to the highs. Up, sideways measured move. Talked about some of that stuff last night. And so that was a good way to get involved. You had the TLT bonds. And so the good thing about the bonds here, you can see this 30 down, Rev Strat 30 down, walking all that stuff. But another thing I talk about, you can identify here, would be the momentum shooting star. Got this here, right there, shooting star off into the lows. Momentum shooting star down, real nice plays there. Some of the real stars are the regional banks. KRE really ripping here. And if we go back to this monthly, you're going to see this big broadening formation. It's been a long time waiting for higher rates. They think Trump can bring it to them, and here it is. Boom, 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 and back up. And so a real strong day on some things that are normally pretty boring, but not today. KRE a ripper. And if you look at this here, you'll see this, like I said, some of those things that don't usually move very much. Huntington Bank shares, FitB, SBNY. You might want to keep this one on your watch list. Oh, yeah, bam. We'll take that. And there's plenty of good entries in a lot of this stuff. That was the good part about the creeper rally. You had Franklin Resources, Ben, there's a ripper there too. Goldman Sachs, I tweeted this out so you can see it. But let's take a look here. The inside 30, 60 combo. Goes up, it goes inside 30 here for some entries there. If you want to slow it down a bit and go say, I'm not fast enough for a 30, Rob, you go inside 60 right here, 188, boom, $4.50 right there. That was nice. I even had the insurers, the MetLifes and the Perus and so the financials really took off here. The question is going to be about follow through, stuff like that, because ideally everybody's like, oh, IBB at first. We're like, oh, IBB's the one that's going to have the relief rally. Well, it did. It just kind of sat there and did nothing for the rest of the day. As you can see this here, goes up, well, let's go to 60. Goes on the 60, and outside of this, it spent most of the day in the range, albeit creeping back up. If we go to that weekly, though, finally coming back up, nice on the gap for the comeback. But a lot of these stocks, like Amgen, they gap back up, and then they just did nothing. So for the most of the day, IBB comeback, yes. Do anything? Not really. If we go to gold, one of the things I talked about last night in the webinar is when you see a multi-bar inside pattern. What that means is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks are completely within this week's range. You can expect this type of turning around because it's consolidating. So you got that inside week off the lows, comes up into here but can't take that out, drops back in. And so when you want to look at the broadening formation that's formed in there, this is why you're going to get killed when you're trading something that's still inside, until you wait for the formation to get bigger. Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. Now we can get something out of this. You had the inside 60 down here. It was a nice move in gold out of that. And for the most part, you'd think that this was a huge broad-based rally, but it really wasn't. It was fragmented, and there's a lot of not so muchers. Jump and ship on the utilities, and the utilities getting pounded here today. So there was a lot of, believe it or not, there was a lot of opportunity on the short side today. ETR, just a bunch of these things getting pounded. So that was nice. And we also have, a long list that we were watching and doing on the short side that weren't going. KHC, KHC was nice as a kicking pattern, which means a bright green bar gap down to it, to the lows. And so you can see this thing just peak, some nice dumpage there. ILMN was another one. You know, anything, when you're seeing a huge rally like this, anything that has full time frame continuity to the downside, which means it's red on the month, week, day, and 60, that's exactly where you want to be on the short side, because we know that there's natural sellers in there. We had American Tower. We had CCI with American Tower. You had the guns, RGR, peak, SWHC. So as opposed to guys trying to top tick the S&P, just go after the guys who are already in trouble. CTRP was having problems. We had ISRG, although that was pretty quick on the opening and then didn't do much. ISRG. Well, these are the kinds of things you want to look to go after. SBAC, SBAC, that's inside month and down and going down. TRIP had the earnings and it's falling apart there. You had to wait for that rally up, but once it came back down, rallied up in here, and then the rest of the day, the dribbler. So we got stuff out of that. We had some REITs with those Utes, the triple N, the letter O here. So there was plenty to do on the short side. So the question is, you know, what are we going to get going here to continue this rally? But the good news is there's a lot of things that still are nowhere near the highs, even though we rally back like here. And so we can look at, so we got some retail numbers coming out, XRT retail. And so some retail names still, if you take a look at this, just trying to turn the corner, coming way off of this stuff, way down in here. So there's plenty of room for XRT. You can look at stuff like DG that's still trying to come off the lows, and Dollar Tree. These things have been in trouble for a long time, but we'll see if a rally like this can spark that stuff. I know a lot of people have been watching TWLO and ACIA. Maybe it's time. You know, it's like once you have a huge rally like this, we want to see what the consolidation looks like, and we want to see what the continued rotation looks like. Where does the money continue to go? So if we look at some of the usual suspects, didn't do anything either. Facebook, doing nothing. Amazon, doing nothing. Apple, doing nothing. I'm granted slightly green. Goog, Netflix, doing nothing. You can see this stuff just here is doing nothing today. And burritos. You got Wynn Resorts doing nothing, right? Except trying to come off the lows. But a lot of these usual suspects that you'd go after, even a Tesla, didn't do anything. So we want to see where this rotation goes. Home Builders is another group that had a nice day, but still, as you can see, nowhere near the highs. And so anytime you see a big rally like this, the next thing you want to do is see what the consolidation looks like, see what the continued rotation looks like, where they go, because on a day like today or the Brexit day, when they all just go gangbusters into the financials or whatever, oftentimes that's you know, the effect of the shorts who are betting on this election just getting taken out. And so then it's a matter of the real buyer stepping in. Where do the real sustained buying occur? So that's what we're going to be looking for the next few days. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith of the Quantitative Vision, the Black VTF here at T3 Live with today's market wrap-up.